and the monthly meeting for the Fairfield Glade Community Club Board of Directors will come to order. Due to the CDC guidelines and the COVID-19 public health advisories for social distancing, this morning's Board of Directors meeting is open to members of the board, key staff members, and limited observers. This meeting is being recorded and the video will be posted on the Community Club website for member viewing. This morning, to honor America, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence to remember those who are serving in uniform and those who are affected by the COVID-19 virus. And this morning also, let's take a moment to remember those who will be affected by Hurricane Laura. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Pat, would you please call the roll of the board members?
Mr. Birdsall? Mrs. Chalfont?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mr. Floral?
Here.
Mrs. Galloway?
Here.
Mrs. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Chairman, we have 5 board members present, therefore we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Pat. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting held on July 23rd, 2020?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All of us.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Minutes of the July 23rd meeting are approved. This morning in the audience we have a couple of distinguished guests. I see our 9th District Commissioner Colleen Mall is in the audience, and also our 6th District County Commissioner Joe Sherrill is in the audience, and Joe has asked to make a few comments. So Joe, if you'd step up to the podium.
This is on? Thank you, and good morning. I wanted to just take a brief moment this morning to thank you for getting out and participating in the process of government in this last election. But more importantly, I wanted to emphasize that the 6th District and the 9th District share a large border. And there are a lot of support organizations from Fairfield to the 6th District in the terms of supporting schools, Pineview and Crab Orchard, also supporting the Crab Orchard Care Center, and a lot of help that comes out of this. But one thing we lack is sort of a knowledge of each other, fostering each other stories. So what I was wanting to encourage people to do from the Fairfield Glade communities, and that includes the 6th District and 9th District communities, I would encourage you to connect with Wendell and myself in some way by phone, or we'll come have a chat so we can learn each other's stories a little bit better and become a stronger group together, because the 2 districts in this county that I think foster each other the most and who help each other the most, or could for certainly be that, would be Fairfield Glades and the 6th District and the 9th District people. And so I wanted to thank you for that and invite to hear your stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. The next item on the agenda is the election committee update, and our 2020 election committee has provided election updates at the last 2 board meetings, and this morning's update is going to be provided by Pat Vincent, who is the chair of the 2020 election committee.
Good morning. Thank you for having us this morning. Here on behalf of the election committee, since the last board meeting, we hosted a virtual Meet the Candidates night. It's typically been in person, but because of the COVID, we did it virtually, electronically, if you will. And technology can be wonderful. It can also be a little challenging. So it took us a few tries, but it's done. It's up on the website. And the committee wants to express its appreciation of the community club staff, They were very instrumental in putting this together, in supporting us with staff, with equipment, and many had to come in after hours, and I know Andrew here was kind enough to come in very, very early on a Sunday morning, so we thank them very much for their assistance in this endeavor. We have had to date approximately 700 views of the Meet the Candidates event, so we encourage you to look at it and ask your neighbors to look at it if they haven't had an opportunity, because we hope it meets the goal of allowing the community members to be more educated in the voting process. Voting started on August 10th, and it will continue until September 4th. So that means that if you're voting electronically, it has to be done by midnight on September 4th. If you're voting by paper ballot, it has to be postmarked by September 4th, and the elections results will be provided at the annual meeting on September 18th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Now I'd like to share a few comments with all of you from across the board. As we have done for several months, we'll once again begin by stressing the importance of taking personal responsibility in doing everything within your power to avoid exposure to the coronavirus. The virus is out there among us, and we need to be vigilant in our behavior by taking the necessary precautions to protect ourselves, our families, our neighbors, and our friends. Our amenity activity levels in the Glade continue to increase and are near the levels that we saw in 2019. The commercial activity within the county continues to increase, and schools in Cumberland County are back in session. We all know that increased activity, large gatherings, and lack of social distancing are major contributors to the spread of the virus. So please do your part and be part of the solution by following these 5 key principles to limit the spread of the virus. Practice the recommended social distancing guidelines. Face coverings are recommended whenever you are in the company of others. Wash your hands every time you touch something you haven't cleaned. Sanitize all high-touch surfaces frequently, and stay at home if you feel sick. It is always your individual decision as to whether or not you feel comfortable using our facilities or participating in our scheduled activities. We have taken a pause in our reopening strategy timeline, and movement to the next phase of our strategy will be determined based upon additional public health advisories or guidance and the impact our reopening activities have in our community. The Alzheimer's Tennessee Car Parade. On Saturday, September 19th, the Community Club is partnering with Alzheimer's Tennessee to sponsor a car parade in Fairfield Glade to publicly demonstrate our support for the effort to raise funds to provide support for those families dealing with this disease and to find a cure for this devastating illness. This year, the car parade is taking the place of the annual Alzheimer's Walk and provides a 2020 alternative, including observing the recommended social distancing along with wearing face coverings. Those who wish to watch the car parade from their front yards, driveway, or along the car parade route will be able to easily distance themselves from others. We believe that there is minimal, if any, exposure to the community from a passing vehicle. Decision time is here. As Pat mentioned earlier, the balloting for our 2 director-at-large positions began on August 10th and continues until Friday, September 4th. As I mentioned last month, we are very fortunate to have multiple candidates seeking the 2 community director-at-large positions. The virtual Meet the Candidates event has been recorded and is available for viewing on the community website. As community club members, each of us has the responsibility to do our homework on each of the candidates. The candidates' applications are posted on the community club website, as are their answers to the questions that were posed by this year's election committee. Research their positions on topics you feel are important, then make an informed decision relative to which candidate deserves your support and, more importantly, your vote. Your vote is important because the future of Fairfield Glade depends on it, and the results of the election will be announced at the Community Club annual membership meeting on Friday, September 18th. Volunteerism in the Glade. We want to thank each and every one of our Fairfield Glade residents who donate their precious time and talent to support the many volunteer activities in our community. We thank our 100-plus fellow community club members who volunteer to participate on our Board of Director advisory committees and for providing the valuable input into the board decision-making process. Today, we want to extend a very special thank you to the hundreds more of our fellow community club members who volunteer to help their friends, neighbors, and even complete strangers through the many other volunteer organizations in our community. So if you volunteer through our faith-based communities, or through our service organizations, or through one of our many clubs, thank you for taking the time and making the effort to leave our community a better place than you found it. Through your actions, you are touching the lives of so many, and your impact will be felt for years to come. And now a few comments regarding the fines and appeals process. We have received a number of member comments regarding the fine policy and the appeals policy, and there seems to be some misconception regarding when fines start and the amount of time a member has to remedy a violation. First, when a property owner receives a violation notice, the letter states that the property owner has 10 days to contact the ACC or PSC office or cure the violation. The property owner is not required to remedy the situation within the 10-day period if the time frame is unreasonable. Second, it is only after the property owner has failed to contact the ACC or the PSC office that a second letter is sent indicating that fines may be assessed if no contact is made or the violation is not cured within an additional 10-day period. Fines are a last resort and only designed to encourage compliance when property owner is not being responsive or reasonable. If and when fines actually are assessed, only then do they increase with every 48 hours that the situation remains unresolved. At any point in the process, fines can be avoided or put on hold by the property owner contacting the ACC or the PSC office with a reasonable course of action. As part of the appeals process, in many cases, the accumulated fines are reduced or waived altogether if it appears that the property owner was acting in good faith and taking care of the issue in a reasonable time frame. Fines are assessed for one reason only, to encourage compliance with our policies and not as a form of punishment. Here are the latest updates on our major capital projects. Construction on the new Mirror Lake Entertainment Pavilion continues by the developer. Work on the pathways from the parking areas into the gathering area, as well as the plaza in front of the pavilion, should begin in the very near future. Stonehenge Clubhouse. The Phase 2 kitchen and exterior renovation project is in the bidding process, and we expect those bids in September. The Major Capital Projects Committee shared the plans at our June meeting, and they are on the website under Latest News and in the Conference Center hallway for review. The Racket Center. The Major Capital Projects Committee continues to work with the project architect and the low bid contractor for the initial plans to come up with additional options to achieve our goals while lowering costs. The revised architectural drawings for the project are on the website under Latest News and in the Racket Center for viewing. Construction drawings are being revised and will be updated early in September. The revised cost estimates are expected in October. And finally, the Robin Hood Park expansion. The Phase 1 planning process is proceeding. We are soliciting bids to complete the initial clearing of the area, and the Phase 1 projects that include refurbishing the existing pavilion and facilities, in addition to creating a new parking lot, The planning process continues so we can proceed after the Peavine Road work is completed in the area. And that is our update from across the board. This morning, I also want to share with all of you that we have an additional announcement. Earlier this week, we received a message from Diana Chalfant announcing her resignation from the Community Club Board of Directors as our Interval Owners Director, effective on September 21st, 2020. The Interval Owners Director, or the Timeshare Director, is chosen by the Timeshare Association's Executive Council, and we will announce Diana's replacement when we receive that information. Diana, it has been a genuine pleasure to have you as a member of the board. We will miss your positive outlook and your unwavering advocacy for the timeshare associations and the best interests of the timeshare guests during all of our deliberations. We know how difficult it has been for you to balance your devotion to your husband and his illness, along with the time demands of serving the community that you love. We wish you and Scott all the best and look forward to seeing the two of you out and about soon.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll go to Bob to the General Manager's update.
Okay, thank you. One other major project that's actually been a multi-year project that we're hoping to wind down this year is the Police Department building. We've been waiting to do a lot of work in the parking lot until Peavine Road is substantially complete or most of the paving's done. We understand that they should start some more paving here in the next couple weeks in that area, and they will then do the ramps off of Lakeview as well as Peavine Road. Then we can finish up the paving, the ceiling, and the striping of the parking lot. So that'll have a much nicer look in there. Also, carpeting in the building will be installed in early October, and then we'll also do some landscaping in October to finish it off. As far as some deferred maintenance projects, we completed the roof on the old section of the fire station on Peavine Road, and so that has a new look, and you'll notice that the one side does not have that mansard roof, and that was taken off to help with the drainage on the roof and avoid future leaks. We've also done some minor paving repairs throughout the community, in particular on Fairfield Boulevard, and where Fairfield and Village intersect. I've done some work there. Most of that work was actually due to Crab Orchard Utility installing a new water line, so they're actually paying for that work, so that's good. Other items, year-to-date golf rounds for 2020 through last month end were about 54,000. That's 24,000 rounds less than budget and 23,000 less than 2019, all due to our shutdown as a result of COVID-19. The average rounds per course per day open were 99 compared to 105 in 2019. But all in all, operations and our COVID-19 protocols seem to be working well, so we're pleased with that and pleased to see more activity and more revenues. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And now the resort report. Diana.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to let you know that our timeshare continues to welcome many visitors to Fairfield Glade, and we're excited to share that a lot of those are first-time guests to our community. I know you've seen a variety of the car tags at the restaurant, at the golf, at the walking trails, at the racquet club, and we anticipate approximately 1,650 guests over the Labor Day weekend, as we're looking at approximately 90% occupancy with 165 arrivals next Friday. We're happy to announce that our latest project is about 90% completed, and that's new playground equipment. We put two sets of playground equipment in the resorts so that 4 units, 4 associations can use each of those. And I would encourage you, if you have an opportunity, pull into Wellington and drive back and see it. It's very, very attractive, and I know our young guests are going to enjoy it. When I first came on the board this year, I promised our residents the opportunity to come see some of our newly renovated timeshares. Currently, since I've shared with our community the number of guests we host each month and the huge amount of money, $46 million, that we've invested in our community in the last 8 years, many people have expressed an interest to see some of our renovated units. Consequently, I've organized a tour of the resort's event. It will be scheduled on Friday, the September 18th, after the annual meeting. Anyone that wants to come is welcome to come, but we're going to ask you to please contact the timeshare office and put your name on the list so we'll know how many people to plan for. And if you want to sign up today, I have the sign-up sheet. And the number for the timeshare office is in the directory on page 5 of our phone book. So if you'll just call, leave your name, maybe your phone number and email, so we can call you and tell you what time we'll do your tour. So I encourage you to consider doing that. We're going to see, we'll go to 3, maybe 4 units. We'll see an older unit that's been updated, a not so old unit that has been totally renovated, and if there's availability, if the 4-bedroom timeshare is not occupied, we'll go see that because it's quite nice. I want you to know I've enjoyed meeting and sharing the great news of our success in our timeshares. And as always, I'll be able to answer any questions you might have about the timeshare at the conclusion of the meeting, and you can sign up for the tour if you wish.
Thank you, Diana. Next on the agenda is the Architectural Control Committee report, and Sam McAdoo is going to deliver that this morning.
Good morning. Miscellaneous approvals, changes to established homes through July 2020 is 1,075. Through July of 2019 was 1,053. So we're doing a little better this year than last. New homes approved through July of 2020 is 50, and through July of 2019 is 55. That's a little less, but I'm going to go ahead and read. New homes completed this year through July is 60, and through July of last year is 49. So the numbers sometimes are a little deceiving, but we have completed more homes this year than last. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. The monthly financial report will be delivered this morning by Denise.
Good morning. Hey, I'll start my summary review with the balance sheet. And we'll look at cash and cash equivalents for sewer is $2.8 million, which is ahead of last year, where we were last year. For capital funds, we have $2.4 million. And for operations, we have $2.7 million, which is also ahead of last year. So our cash is doing better. For property, plant, and equipment,